Welcome to the Elevate Podcast, your resource for all things business, brand, and leadership. We are excited you have decided to join us today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tony Frasconi here with my main man, Robert Kalin.
That's right.
And it's episode number 42.
42, yeah, that's
right? Of the Elevate Podcast. And we are here today to talk about business and family. You know, we're all things business, brand, and leadership. And I don't know about you, Robert, but, you mess with me, you mess with my whole family, huh?
Hey, it happens. Tony, I love the concept of us talking about business and family right now, because I think over the last year, we've kind of become like family. We're so ingrained in our like day-to-day things that we do together, and just sometimes certain people become like family to you who aren't blood related, right? You just love each other. You treat each other like brothers. And I love that we get to have this conversation today.
Absolutely. I think, your friends, the people you let in your life, sometimes, they can be considered your chosen family. Mm. And I think when we think of business, brand, leadership, people that interact with us in our business as a part of running it are part of our family, and in that regard, I think today we're going to really unpack, is business a family? Can you really say, hey, we run business like a family? And then the second piece is, can we actually have our family in our business?
Yeah.
Is it healthy to have people that we love and care about at home help us run?
And maybe where's the line with that nepotism piece, right? Where
exactly.
You don't have healthy boundaries in business and family. But also, we were talking with Mike earlier, and just at what point does family have your main priority focus, like your personal family? Because sometimes we put business in a higher bracket because it's our income. It's our, as the entrepreneur, you got to go get it done, but you missed your kid's sporting event, or you missed something important in their life because you're doing the thing, right? It's so important for us to have healthy boundaries when it comes to business and family, so that we have health in both areas. And family, in my view, family is first always.
Absolutely. I remember Mike actually talking one of the episodes a while back. We talked about time management, and he talked about that and that balance for him. And that was always a number one thing. I want to make my kids' sporting event. I want to be there at the awards ceremony. I want to be there, and making that the priority. And we're going to see a clip. And who we're going to see the clip from?
Yeah. So you may know Kendra Scott, who phenomenal entrepreneur, founder of a $1 billion business. She's
one of 20 women in the world that are billionaires, something like that.
One of 20 founders who have $1 billion companies in the U.S. But Kendra Scott was just recently on Live to Lead. And I want to roll a clip real quick. Mike, can you roll that for us?
I've always loved color. Color makes you happy. And jewelry, I couldn't afford what was out there. Thought I could design beautiful, handcrafted jewelry that was also attainable for women.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, you've inspired me. I actually saw your panel 4 years ago, and you rocked my world.
You're a female founder, and there's not enough of us out there. I am one of 20 women in the United States to be a founder of a $1 billion brand.
We hire people on their heart and that cultural fit. We treat each other like family, which means we treat each other like brothers and sisters.
This treatment room was inspired by our Kindred Cares program, which is a creative therapy program that we bring to hospitals across the country for children.
I'm just proud of what we've built, and I'm proud of the company we've built. I'm proud of our values.
Here we go.
Wow, that was awesome. Kendra Scott, such a powerful story. I think if you have a chance to see her full keynote one day, if you're lucky enough to see that, you'll notice her core values that she talks about for her business, and that's all things. What is it? Family, philanthropy, family, fashion, and philanthropy.
That's right.
When I used to coach football, I used to always say family, faith, football was my 3 core values. And I just love that she kind of incorporates that family piece into the business.
Yeah. Well, it's it's really key for us when we have a business to have our core values and how they apply not only to our business, because our business is an extension of us, of who we are as entrepreneurs, but also what's pushing the business forward. What is okay for our employees to like really embrace fully, and be a part of this thing that we're doing, right? And so I love that family is the number one value there, because family is so important. And the cool thing is she's got $1 billion business. Her number one value is family. And how does that play into really serving your customers and all of that, right? I mean,
absolutely.
It seems counterintuitive.
That kind of sandwich, the philanthropy being on the bottom and the fashion in the middle, which is like that core, which is right how they do those other things, but family first.
Right.
And I love that, and I think that's part of our core values is the Elevate podcast, all things business, brand, and leadership. But we really come at these things from a values perspective, and how to add value and that human component. Because you'll hear in some realms, right, around businesses, hey, it's just money, it's just business, and we're here to do a thing and to make as much profit and to and really I think she leads by example, and she talks about that too in her keynote. She talks about leading by example. She talks about having family members as a part of the business, but also hiring people in and then treating them like, hey, we're gonna treat each other like, we're gonna argue like family, like brothers and sisters, and we're not always gonna get along, but at the end of the day, we're a fit and we're here because we care about this, about what we're doing and about each other. And that in that type of environment, I think failing forward is part of it too. And we talked a little bit about that last week.
We did. And what I love, I think, as we talk about this, as we talk about family and business, sometimes it can be really hard to draw those lines, to set those boundaries, to say those things. I think Joel Manby says this really well. He wrote a book called Lead with Love, or Leading with Love, where ultimately if you love someone, you're pursuing their well-being and their best interest, right? And oftentimes I think we get this idea of family. We come from very unhealthy, broken, dysfunctional, whatever you want to call it, families where we don't necessarily have the best model, right? And when we come at it from a place of love, which Kendra's doing, right, in her business, which is why she's successful, why people want to be on her team, and why people care to be like family and have that core value and share that core value with each other. It ultimately comes down to the values that we hold matter in everything that we do. So if you want to draw the line of business and family, it comes down to your core values. And so identifying your personal core values and how they play out into your business is essential for any listener out there right now. You may think you know what your core values are, but if you really dove in, here's an exercise for you. Write down what your core values are. For each one, take it, write down a paragraph or two of why that core value matters to you. Why is it? What's a story behind that core value and why it matters to you? And then take it a step further and say, now, how does this translate to my business? How does this core value, how does it inspire other people? How does it connect to what I'm doing as a business? Write down another story. Those two stories right there will inform so much about your core value and why it's a core value, and really create it so that it's translatable to the people that work for you and your customers.
Absolutely. It's such an introspective way to look at it. And I think another thing she talks about is, her early stage of business and a business that failed.
Yeah.
And then paying attention to the environment, what the environment was telling her back, which was this business is failing, but people are interested in this other thing, the jewelry component that she was kind of flirting with. And so her values were played out, I'm sure, in both cases, right? She's putting everything into this business, but at the same time, we also do need to pay attention to the environment. And it doesn't mean that we failed, because ultimately she's such a success, And so I love that, like taking that introspective look around who you are and your core values, because why? They're going to get put to the test.
Yeah.
right? At some time, your back's gonna be against the wall. You're gonna have to make a tough call, tough decision, and ultimately, it's gonna reveal, who you are and how your business plays out.
Well, I think also with that, it's not just you understanding your core values. It's your employees embracing the same values, right?
That's the family.
That cross shared value that makes you go, oh, so we can argue like family, or we can disagree like family. And at the end of the day, we still love each other. We still care about each other. We still want this mission that we're on to go forward, which is key, right?
Right. If you're a Starbucks fan, they might come out with a product that, you're not excited about. We talked about their the last launch they did, the oleato, right? The olive oil and the coffee and the mix. Some people just they don't.
It's not their thing.
It's just not their thing. But ultimately,
but for you guys get the cups that come out regularly. So
right, exactly.
Settle down a little.
Yeah, you save your stoppers. But ultimately, you've got maybe a disagreement about a product that a launch, but you're still going to Starbucks. You're still a family member.
Yeah.
And I think that is how people interact with us when we can model family and business, and we can treat our customers like that, and they engage with us like family.
Right. And that's that leading by example piece, right? You are always teaching people in every single interaction how to interact with you, right? You are, by setting your boundaries, by setting the things that you do and the actions that you take, and the reactions that you have and how you respond to people, you are telling them how to treat you. And when we can lead by example as leaders in our business, which requires some forethought most of the time, like how am I going to respond when there is failure, right?
Yeah.
Am I gonna like flip my lid and go crazy? It may depend on what the failure is, right? The cost of the failure. Maybe somebody just is driving my excavation truck down the road, and I've got a couple $100,000 of equipment on the back of it, and it falls off because it wasn't secured properly. Might be a different flip out than somebody gets in an accident, and I'm like, what, are you okay? Right. But at the same time, you got to think about like, how are we going to respond to the different situations that happen?
Right. One thing I think maybe our listeners can take away today is maybe our reaction to failure, because so much of American culture anyway is our work, who we are, whether we're a business or an entrepreneur, or we have a 9-to-5 job.
Mm-hmm.
Our work is who we are and what we do and what we're about. And sometimes things happen in our life, in our personal life, where it's like, man, I'm kind of failing at life, and then I've hit some roadblocks at work, and I feel like I'm failing in this pursuit of a business, or I'm not getting critical feedback that's I'm not doing great in
Mm-hmm.
either case. What would you say? Because I know you've lived it, right? You're a business owner, you've and a family man, and all the above. And I don't know, what would you say to somebody that's like, man, I don't really I don't know how to fail forward and actually learn from my mistakes, because I feel like I'm failing everywhere I turn.
Yeah. So what I would say is, it really boils down to your identity, right? Because if we tie ourselves to our work, if we tie ourselves to the things that we do, when we do make a mistake, we personally are a failure. Your work is not what you do. It's not your identity, it's not who you are. It's what you do. Right. And so setting a nice boundary for yourself to say, hey, that's not who I am. I don't do this on a regular basis. I tried something risky and I made a mistake, or it failed, or it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. But guess what? I learned something valuable from that.
Right.
And I can take that to the next thing.
Yeah. That old adage, we've heard it in the past, right? Failure's not an option.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of ingrained in some of us. But I love that, our identity, it's something that's happened as a result of maybe an action that we took that was good or bad.
Sure.
But it's a result of that, and it's not necessarily identifying who we are.
For sure. And I think a lot of us can look back on our lives, and we see failures stack up, and it can be a weight on us, right? Rather than saying, look, every single one of those things has put me in the position that I'm in right now, and I wouldn't be who I am had I not gone through those lessons, had I not gone through those failures, had I not gone through those situations, And I get to be the person that I am because of all of that.
Yeah.
And I get to take it with me to share with somebody else, right? I can think of many, many, many times where I've failed. And it literally has made me who I am. I would not take any one of those back. Yes, it was hard. Yes, there was some difficult conversations that have happened. Yes, there are things that you, in the time, maybe you wish, like, I wish I would have done it different. But that's where you go, okay, next time I am going to do it different.
Yeah.
You know?
Makes me think of a movie back in the, I don't know, early 2000s called Click. It was with Adam
Yes.
Sandler, and he had this kind of remote control. And he kind of fast forwarded through all the hard stuff so he could get to the successful and the easy time. But then, you know, it kind of ties into what you're saying. Like there's this trial and error that happens along the way. And a lot of times when we see the person that's the success, we don't see the 10,000 hours of work behind or all the failures behind. We just go, man, that person's got it together, and I don't.
Absolutely. I think I'm spacing on his name right now. Family Feud guy.
Bob Barker?
No.
Oh, no. Who was
Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
Steve Harvey talks about how, you know, if you would see the end right now where you're going to be, you wouldn't do it because it's hard. You're going to have to go through a lot of crap to get there, right?
Yeah.
And the reality is you're not the person that can handle that yet. But every step that you take is getting you to become that person who can handle the hard things, the difficult things that you're going to be faced with when the time comes. So I'm going to wrap up with this, which is a culmination of everything we've talked about. Kendra Scott, you guys, Live to Lead's amazing resource. Mike said it last week. I'll say it again. Reach out to us. We would love for you to be able to get this content. Go to our website, innovationsinleadership.com or countercultureleadership.com. There's a resource there for Live to Lead. The other thing that I will say as I wrap this up is with family and business, it ultimately comes down to what you value, right? And put your values on paper, on purpose, understand what they mean so that they translate in everything that you do. People around you need you to be the leader that does this, the hard work. There's not a lot of us doing it, right? The work is much and the workers are few. And so if you step forward and start leading by example, the world around you will change. People will see that and they'll be attracted to it. They want to be led. And I want to encourage you guys, you are doing good things. You're doing hard things. We see you. We appreciate you. We love you guys. And we can't wait to see you on the next episode. Till then, take care. God bless.
Elevate Podcast out.
Thank you for joining us. Our hope is this episode has been helpful for you today. If it's impacted you in some way, we encourage you to share it with someone. To receive a direct notification of our next episode, click the follow button on your favorite app or platform. You can also watch each episode on YouTube. The links are in the description. If you want to connect with us on a deeper level, go to countercultureleadership.com/resources. We'll see you next week on the Elevate Podcast.